Cynthia, do you want to take the lead there?
Oh, sure. I've been chatting away on mute here. Sorry. Hi, my name is Cynthia Cowell. I am a Public Information Officer with the U.S. Small Business Administration Office of Disaster Assistance. I want to tell you a little bit about the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, or EIDL, from the SBA Office of Disaster Assistance. It's designed to help private nonprofits and businesses, small businesses, with adjusting to this economy during the COVID pandemic. SBA has these loans called Economic Injury Disaster Loans, and they are available for a term of up to 30 years. The interest rate for businesses is 3.75%, and for private nonprofits, the interest rate is 2.75%. These are up to $2 million in funds. There is a forgivable amount of $10,000 to be used for payroll and related expenses. And that is something that you would request in the application. I know a lot of people applied prior to March 29th at night, and we completely revamped the application process. So it's necessary to go in and self-certify if you did that old application. A good way to know if you did the old application is if it did not mention up to $10,000 in forgivable funds, then it's the old application. These loans are made to cover your, excuse me, to cover your expenses that you have because you are having problems meeting your commitments directly because of COVID-19 restrictions. They can be used for such things as your payroll, your routine monthly expenses such as your mortgage payments and your rent payments. The term for these loans, I believe I said it before, can go out to 30 years. There's a deferment period once your note is signed of 11 months from the date of the note. You make your payment in the 12th month. So there's a year to help you recover from the disaster. A helpful hint for applying for an EIDL when you're a private nonprofit is that there's a section that says owner one or agent. For a nonprofit, someone on the board or the pastor should be listed there as the agent. You enter 0 for ownership, and that'll help you get through the PNP application process. We suggest that you apply for both the EIDL loan and for the PPP program. Irene will explain about the PPP program, but they work hand in hand. And while SBA cannot duplicate funds received from another program, the funds can be used for separate expenses. There have been questions about whether the EIDL funds can be used to pay off an existing long-term note, and the answer to that is unfortunately no. You need to make your routine monthly payments on a long-term note. However, if your organization received a bridge loan or private financing, or you put items on a credit card to get through these times, you can use the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Funds to help pay that off. And with that, if there are any questions, go ahead and post them.
Again, feel free to utilize the chat feature, and I'm happy to.
Okay, this is Irene.
Go for it, Irene.
expenses dated before February 15 of 2020, and utility payments under service agreements dated before February 15 over the 8-week period following the date of the loan. Not more than 25% of the loan forgiveness amount may be attributable to items that have come up on frequently asked questions that could apply. And so there have been questions asked about benefits and sick leave, and that actually does apply to, so does the PPP loan cover paid sick leave? The answer is yes. So the loan covers payroll cost, including costs for employee vacation, family, medical, and sick leave. And another one that has come up is, what's the time period to determine your calculation for payroll cost? And that is for the previous 12 months or your 2019 fiscal year from your calendar year, whichever is used on your taxes. And another one that has come up is, should a eligible borrower who works with an independent contractor or sole proprietor include their calculations as part of their payroll cost? And the answer is no. So an independent contractor or someone that you give a 1099 to, they are considered a small business. They are self-employed, so they are eligible to apply to both the EIDL and the PPP program. And then the most recent question that has come up is, when does that 8-week period begin? So the 8-week period begins on the date the lender makes the first disbursement of that PPP loan. And the lender must make the first disbursement of the loan no later than 10 calendar days from the date of loan approval. And so those were the items that I wanted to share with the PPP program. So are there questions? Oh, perfect. So it's been posted in the chat to apply for the disaster loan at that website. And then the customer service is also listed with the 800 number or by email. The other thing I would also encourage is that if you haven't gone to the Treasury website, you'll find all the information about the CARES Act there. I'm going to post that site on the chat as well, so you'll have that to reference, because that actually is where I get all of my guidance and information, and check it daily because they are continually updating information there. So Evan, are there any other questions you think could be addressed?
Sorry if you've already addressed. There's one here. There's a section called Other. What other expenses can the funds be used for?
So it's clearly identified. So is it for the EIDL loan or the PPP loan?
Liz, could you clarify which you were talking about? The PPP.
Okay, so 75% of the proceeds must be used for payroll expenses in order for it to be forgiven. The remaining can be used for mortgage interest payments, but not mortgage prepayments or principal payments, rent payments, utility payments, interest payments on any other debt obligations that were incurred before February 15 of 2020. Any other questions? Okay. Oh, is it possible to use these funds for outside contractors if the virus has stopped work for them completely? So are you referring to like someone you would give a 1099 to, or someone who is a self-employed person? So self-employed individuals or sole proprietors are able to access both the EIDL and the PPP loan. So they, okay, 1099s. So yep, those, they are eligible. They just need to have incurred those expenses from February 15 before February 15. So yes, outside contractors, self-employed, sole proprietors, anyone who would be given a 1099, they can apply to either program. And in fact, the time to do that is today. So that got open for all businesses today, or all self-employed today. So definitely seek out your lender, and they would be accepting your applications today for a 1099 self-employed.
Irene, this is
Yes.
Cynthia.
Yes.
For the economic injury disaster loan, you need to have your applications in by December of this year. And so if you receive PPP funds in the interim, you can use those. You just won't be able to duplicate what you're receiving from PPP and any other funding sources. So it's a good idea to apply for both. This is for subcontractors and employers alike.
Perfect. Yes. Definitely encouraged to have your self-employed and businesses apply to both. And it's also encouraged to keep really, really good records. So we just can't emphasize that enough too, to show that you're not using the funds for the same purposes. Any other comments, Cynthia, that would be helpful? Otherwise, I think we've covered everything.
I believe we have. If you have questions, I've posted the contact information about SBA. You can apply online at covid19relief.sba.gov. And if you have questions, you can call our customer service line at 800-659-2955 or send an email to disastercustomerservice@sba.gov. The SBA website, www.sba.gov/disaster, has excellent information about the PPP as well as the economic injury disaster loan. So I would encourage you to look at that website as well. Other than that, I think we've pretty much covered it.
I have a question. I don't know if anyone can hear me or if it's automatically muted.
I can hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I entered the wrong ID. This is Maria Andrade calling from Boise. I submitted an application for the disaster loan right when it opened, maybe last week, Saturday or sometime, and I have yet to get any email confirmation or anything. Is that normal and I should just relax?
Did your application ask if you wanted to be considered for the emergency advance of up to $10,000?
It did, but I don't believe that I indicated an interest in that.
Okay. You should hear back from them soon. We've had millions of applicants in the last week since this opened up. So understandably, the customer service center is a bit in the weeds right now as far as responding to everybody immediately. But you should hear something soon.
Okay, I just want to make sure there was no automatic email that was supposed to say even, yes, we got your application, because nobody I know that submitted has gotten that. But we'll hold tight, I guess. Thanks.
Yes, I understand that there is supposed to be an email, and I'm looking into that right now to find out why people aren't getting them. But yes, I just request patience at this point. I know that's hard to do when you're underwater, but it's real important that you did submit the correct application, and they are working on them as quickly as they can.
Okay, thank you.
Well, this is Irene. I don't see any other questions in the Q&A or the chat. These are the same. Evan, did you have any other additional comments?
No, I think that's great. We really appreciate your time and in your flexibility and your help in answering these questions. So thank you for your time and your content.
Perfect. Both Cynthia and I have listed our information there. So if you have questions afterwards, feel free to reach out to us.
Yes, thank you. And let me put in my email information. You can email me if you have questions. And I look forward to hearing from you, and good luck to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you all, we appreciate it. And I'll follow up too with an email with this information, the contact information that's been submitted as well. So thank you for your time, and feel free to check out our COVID-19 resource page if you're looking for any other nonprofit resources or webinars or articles around COVID-19 and strategies to help get all of our nonprofits through it. So thank you everybody, and stay happy and healthy.
Thanks, Evan.